consider myself an enthusiast of some special molecules, right?
Okay.
So, are we rolling now?
Yeah.
No.
No, hey,
Yeah.
don't even worry about it. Yeah. I just don't consider yourself with that. Just talk,
okay.
Just talk to me, man. Like, yeah. With special molecules.
Well, I have understood with time that psychedelic molecules could be treated like biotechnology. So I have been working with them on myself, and I dedicated myself to start spreading the word and spreading awareness about what these molecules are. There's too many ways to approach these molecules.
Okay.
But I chose to approach this as a biotechnology.
Are you like, how'd you get, were you always, you were in science. You were into science first, right? Is that?
Well, I came from I was in the production, film, and design. That was my background. Then I crossed with this molecule that is called 5-MeO-DMT, which is pretty unknown.
I've done this.
I've done this. Okay. I'm all about
I'm right there. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, almost 15 years ago, I found that there was really no information about this. And I was looking information to educate myself, and I couldn't find anything. Well, just a few. I found James O'Rourke and the Tryptamine Palace, and I started doing some connections. I started educating myself on that. And then I found myself in the position to share information. So since I had the opportunity to make a documentary and start a podcast, and with a few people, I decided to start the World Bufo Alvarius Congress, which is a congress where we invite people to talk about the scene and what's going on and sharing information and all that stuff. So I ended up being all about 5-MeO-DMT and Bufo Alvarius. I wrote a book that is called Meet Mr. Alvarius. So
what's it called?
Meet Mr. Alvarius.
What's Alvarius?
Well, because that's where we're gonna start. The 5-MeO-DMT. You can find it in some places in nature. You can have the synthetic version. You can have like in plants like yopo.
What's yopo?
Yopo is plant from South America.
Okay.
So the tribes there, they put it like they cook it, or there's a process.
Do they like cook it down like similar to ayahuasca?
Oh, no, they roast it more. I mean, they extract the seeds.
Okay.
They roast the seeds. They smash the seeds and they inhale the seeds. It's powerful stuff.
I bet.
So that's 5-MeO-DMT coming from plants. So you have the synthetic version that it's coming from lab.
Yo, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
I always hear all these fucking letters and numbers, but like, so what does each one? What's 5 mean? What's the M mean? What's the E mean? And then so, just so I never knew this.
It's 5-methoxydimethyltryptamine.
What does a 5 mean? Does it mean there's 5 of them?
No. It's it's kind of complicated.
Well, I'm dumb.
I guess me too.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
it's just different names in order to let's ayahuasca has NNDMT. So it's ways to call every DMT has different names because it has different compounds.
I never knew that, man. Like, so ayahuasca even has its own code to it.
Yeah, because at the end, there's a few things surrounding the substance. Because let's say ayahuasca is the coction of 2 plants. Yeah. Right. So it has NNDMT, which comes from a plant that is called chacruna, and then you have the Bastereopsis capi, which is coming from the bark of another. Yeah. So there's so many molecules. So and those are just names. To be able to tag them and understand what are you doing. And those ones has different functions in the brain. Yeah. So let's say 5-MeO-DMT, what it's going to do to your brain? It's going to, let's say, disconnect your left frontal lobe, and it's going to remove the self of ego. That's not what ayahuasca does. Because ayahuasca has NNDMT, which allows you to enhance your ability to perceive more of the reality. Yeah. So it's different. So these molecules has different names. Yeah. Because does different things in your brain.
I never thought I guess I'm curious about some things, but I never really thought that deep into like the science part of it. And you like for me, that was my total experience. It wasn't a visual. It wasn't like visual. It was a disconnection of like I felt like I was just floating, like gone away from myself. It was really an interesting feeling. Especially, I think now in this day and age, it's all about the me, right?
Yeah.
And that drug, there is no the me. Like you're not allowed to be the me. Like,
yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
Well, the thing is that what it does is remove the sense of self, and basically merges you with the whole.
Yeah.
But that thing, what I want to tell you too, is that molecule is responsible for the mystical experience, and we produce that molecule. Let's say people who achieve high states of meditation.
Yeah.
They produce the molecule, and they have the exact same experience, right?
So your body can produce any of these things.
Yeah.
Are you teaching people how to do that as well? Like,
well, I'm more like educating people about this because could be potentially dangerous in some cases, right? Because this is just not like I don't like to just talk about the good side of this, right? So I will say that it's a tool for self-knowledge that could be used potentially for change your life, for create awareness, for becoming a better person, creating more of the understanding of your surroundings, but also can confuse you, right? If you abuse it and all that stuff. So it's just because people tends to think that psychedelic molecules are always good, and it could be used for the good or not, you know?
I think you're right? And if in this world, it's a dualistic world in a lot of ways, and it's like everything is the same thing. I used to be charming, I can be a real fucking asshole. You know what I mean? So it's and I think you're right. People they either demonize a psychedelic or call it a hallucinogen, or they're like, this is gonna save me from myself. All I gotta do is smoke this enough and go on a fucking journey, and then I won't have to change, and I'll be magically better.
Yeah, and that's when they sell you a retreat in Tulum or whatever they're gonna tell you. This is gonna be a medicine that is gonna change your life, and I don't think that's the way it is. It will give you the awareness of the blind spots of yourself, and you're gonna have to do the work.
Yeah,
but maybe just people for sell you an experience will not be really honest. It's powerful, yes. Could be a medicine for the soul, yes. But if you do the work, if you do what you learn in those journeys, you come back and you act different, then becomes a medicine. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just drugs, right?
Yeah, man. And here's the thing too, man. I feel like, if you're running one of these retreats and you see the same dude 3 times, like you a fucking drug dealer, dog. Like what? Like what the fuck? Like this motherfucker, he hasn't reached a blissful state yet. Like this is his 3rd time in 3 months. I think everybody could be is culpable for. Well, you're all responsible for yourself, but like, yo, man.
Yeah.
But
you said that you already...
I've done it.
You've done it.
And this is... All right, so I do it. This guy comes over, he's got an owl thing.
What's feathers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was like a ceremony or something.
Yeah, he was like a white dude that made a lot of money and just got a van and just went down south of the border for a long time, came back, and he took it serious, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't take it serious at first. I'm like, this dude got a feather, man. What the fuck? So he's like putting feathers around me. I'm like, oh, shit. And we're clearing out the space. And I believe in intention. And I hit it. He lays me out. And I float away. And I come back. I cry. And like we're all like, I had a deep amount of empathy for the world.
It was the synthetic version of it, or it was like the Bufo Alvarius? Because
it's got to be synthetic. It had to be synthetic.
Okay,
because it was a vapor.
Vapor, like a pen?
It was he had it like it was like this. It looked like a triangle, a rectangle. Pause. It looked like a rectangle, and you hit this thing, and it.
Okay, I know what
it's like cools it, so you can take bigger hits.
Well, I don't know.
It was a scientific thing.
But you were asking me about Alvarius. And Alvarius, the Bufo Alvarius, it's a toad that on the secretion of the toad, there's 5-MeO-DMT. So there's different sources of it. And I have been fascinated about specifically the
Which one
Bufo Alvarius, right?
You like the toadback the best?
Well, I will not. I mean, I'm not saying anything is the best. I'm just saying I'll never say something like that because for some people it's gonna be different, right? So I don't have the right to.
Quit being a diplomat.
No,
man.
Listen, the thing is, people tends to think that synthetic version is the same stuff because that's the information that has been spread.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. I mean, my point is, I'm not gonna say which one is better. I will say it's not the same. That's the first thing because
Man
in the
can't match God. Like God made toads. You can't fucking match God. You can do a copy. So I might have hit a copy of it.
Probably, but let me tell you something interesting in the flakes. I mean, let me tell you how do you do it. So these toads has like a glands in their backs.
Yeah.
And you squeeze, it's like a pimple. You squeeze the thing, it ejects some substance. You put it to dry, and in that substance, then you put it into a glass. You scratch it and you smoke it. That's what you do, right? That thing has more than 5-MeO-DMT. It has a few different.
That's probably it got some special extra stuff on it.
So it's like a cocktail made from nature.
Yeah.
So I have found more beneficial for my process. I will never say I want to impose anything. I found more beneficial, and I have contact with all the Yopo version, the synthetic version, and the Bufo Alvarius version.
Yeah.
And I would say that to me, it was just different. So I am trying to create awareness, not promoting anything, just creating.
Well, like, think about it like this, Mario. Listen, like, even just the way you broke it down to me, right? So you got the animal version, that's the meat version. Yeah. You got the vegetarian version, and then you got the processed food version. Yeah. So it kind of lines right up. You know what I mean? Like it's like pick your poison type deal.
Yeah, and also there's these people that tends to think, all the vegan movement, New Age movement, saying, you're molesting the toads and all that stuff. Okay, well I will not say they're comfortable.
I lick the back off a toad.
Yeah.
Fuck, just to get it. So that's what the Beavis and Butthead cartoon is referencing 5-MeO-DMT when they're licking toads' backs.
Yeah, but that's different. That's another. I mean,
there's more toads you can lick.
Yeah.
This is fucking amazing, Mario.
Well, but the thing is, when you lick the toad, you ain't gonna have the psychedelic experience provoked by 5-MeO-DMT. It's gonna be something more like bufotenin, which is another experience.
What's bufotenin? Well, not to get sidetracked.
Bufotenin, it's another one of these psychedelic molecules. Man. Actually, bufotenin, it's also triggers some stuff in your brain, but every molecule triggers different things in your brain.
So is that the one that people do to like detox? Is that the?
No, that's another one. That's a frog. That's Cambo. And let me explain you that. Yeah. Cambo. Okay, there's this frog in the Amazon that has a poison.
Yeah.
So basically what they do is they burn you in your arm and they put some of that poison and your body starts to react because what it does is activates your defense system, right?
Yeah.
So and then you start vomiting, you start swelling, you start vomiting, but your body it's purging. So they give you water, like 2 or 3 liters. Yeah. You drink the water, they put the poison, you're going to start vomiting. But you're going to start vomiting your karma and all that stuff, you know?
It's funny that you say that, right? When I was smoking, whichever version of 5-MeO-DMT it was, when I was smoking that, I purged. And that was like the first time like I threw up and I was like, it was a release.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When you purge in these situations, it's more like a release than a. It's not that you're sick and you're intoxicated. It's more like it comes into these substances. Well, that's exactly what I'm telling you about. When you get the toad, you're gonna purge more.
Yeah.
When you have the synthetic version of it, it's just gonna be more like a trip, which is good. I mean, it's different.
All right, so maybe I did get something that was because I was throwing up, man.
You were throwing up?
Yeah, I was
during the toad. Who knows?
And then it was crazy, man. Like, it it goes, and I'm gonna get personal, and it's gonna be to your point where after he left, I sat there, and I was like, I'm mad at my mom. Like it just like I've been caring. Like yo, I was like, I am mad at my mom. Dog. Like what the fuck, you know? And
remember that I was telling you that it brings awareness to your blind spots. That's exactly what it does.
Yeah.
It allows you to observe yourself from a different perspective. That's what I call it a biotechnology. It's a molecule that you put in your brain and allows you to access advanced functions of your brain.
Right.
So you are able to observe yourself without the barriers of the mind, because what it does is going to turn off your mind. It's going to turn your left frontal lobe.
Yeah.
You're going to be experiencing from your spirit.
Did you have a deep thing like that too, where you like? Because I changed my that was the other thing too. It's like for me, it was like, all right, I didn't stop being mad at my mom. I had to process it and work through it, and then the way I dealt with women was like I just no trust, you know, like, and it took me years. I'm still working through it. You know, it took me 4 years, man.
That's why I propose to have a mental health protocol. In order to, because what we have created with some people and some friends, if this is not inserted into a mental health protocol, then you're gonna be you can lose yourself in that. It's gonna take you 4 years to process. But if you have a plan, an integration plan where you can be, okay, now we're gonna speak about this. There's so many ways. We have found that some integration groups, which is like AA meetings stuff, where you go and speak about your experience, and just by talking about it and listening to other people, that's like the easiest way to do it. Yeah. Also, you can hire a therapist that is experienced in integrating this stuff. So there's so many ways, because exactly what you just shared is what it happens.
Well, what happened with you? Like what
made it changed my life?
Yeah, but like how? Like what did you did it, and then you were like, I'm done. You got out of Hollywood. You were like, I'm done.
Well, yeah.
What did you see about? Because I left Hollywood too, so I have my own opinions on this shit. Yeah. Like what that and switching the career path that's a thing. So like, what did you see about that?
Well, basically, I saw that what I was dedicating my life wasn't really good. I was doing harm to people. I was making people fool. I was working in television, making them, and that, and also, but the most important part is what it made me I came into this path because I was looking for the cure for something that was very important for me.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like this. I was full of pride. I thought that I was a good citizen. I have all these fake ideas in my mind.
Yeah.
So the substance allowed me to see my real darkness. Right?
What a kick in the ass, right?
So that's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
And once you know, you cannot unknow.
Yeah.
So I like to put it like this. I used to have a small cricket that was telling me what to do. Now I had a lion. It was terrible, because this medicine tool, or whatever we want to call it, increases awareness and consciousness.
Yeah.
So what it does to you is that it will not allow you to continue doing the same stuff, because otherwise you will be suffering because your consciousness, because to me, these substances, particularly this one, 5-MeO-DMT, increases your consciousness.
I think I couldn't agree with you more. And it was that thing where it's just like, now you know, man. Like, now you know, stop fucking, it was stop being a bitch. Like, I felt I was a coward when it came to women, and I was a coward because I saw such grimy shit from women growing up. Like, ain't no way I'm playing that shit. But like, what's your?
What was my problem? Well,
no, not yours. I'm just saying, what's the personal? You have to face your fear.
Exactly. What happened? Well, basically, I got depressed because I had a real taste of who I really was.
Yeah.
So it was a taste of my true nature. And honestly, I was thinking that I was a good person. And I could say I'm a good person and not. Sometimes, like you said, I could be a good person, I could be a terrible person, right?
Right.
So that was my thing. I was able to see all the damage that I was creating with my kids, with the mother of my children, all that stuff, all the damage that I was creating and I was blind. Yeah. So it took me like 2 or 3 months in order to integrate that. So I started this path trying to...
That must have been painful.
Well, of course. And that's exactly what I'm telling. When you go to a retreat and they sell you the opportunity to heal your soul or spirit, these medicines or these substances are going to take you right to hell, where you have to find...
Okay, y'all. Sure do appreciate everybody listening, and go out and check out the Luxury Loud Sprinkles.
What you really need to heal.
Yeah, man.
So, I mean, it's...
Most epiphanies aren't like, I'm better now. You know, it's like, you're like, what the fuck have I been, or what did I think? And then you have to destroy this world that you created based on bullshit, and that's still painful. It's not like, I'm happy to be done. Like, nah, B. It's funny too that you said, like, the hurting people with ideas, because that's like television is, you can hurt people with ideas. Actually, that's worse than a slap in the face, man. An idea is hard to kill.
Yeah, and we indoctrinate people the way we have been indoctrinated. Yeah. And, well, that's very cruel. Because people, and now you have like podcasts and different opportunities, but back in time, the television was shaping the mind of the people, you know? And, and even pushing agendas and all that stuff. So
what did you work on? Did you do like mostly comedy shit, or?
I was working like in a morning show in Mexico City. That's what I was doing, and we were pushing like just like Good Morning America and all that.
That's stuff. Huge. Like Mexico City is fucking giant. So you're reaching all of these people.
No, we were national. We were national. So I was working there. I was having my own production company. I was developing. I would say a good career in that, but then I understood that I needed to do something different. And you know, it costs money, it costs effort, it costs start again. Right. And what I did is I tried to put my knowledge in order to start spreading information. But can you imagine spreading this information 13 years, 14 years ago? Nobody cares. I have a podcast in Spanish.
What's the name of it?
It's Bufo Talks, Conversations with Mario Garnier. So now we're starting doing the versions in English. But what I want to tell you is we were telling this to the people, and people don't care. No. So, you know, I mean, that's not what the people want to hear. So
it's really rough. I always have these fucking, like, it's like, part of me thinks like the Illuminati, where it's just like, yo, man, if they want to be cattle, treat them like fucking cattle. Because it's like, I feel sometimes, I'm sure you felt the same way. It's like, you're like, hey, guys, over here, guys, stop doing that, fella. It's like, I can't stop. No, we want to be cattle. No, we want to be cattle.
Yeah, but the thing is, with time, I understood that the biggest act of love is respect the other's process.
That's awesome.
And if I try to change them, there's pride in me. There's something in me telling me, hey, I'm better than you. I'm awakened. I'm going to wake you. But if you respect the process of the people, you're loving them. And there's nothing you can do. Yeah. You can just give the clues, and you can say something like, okay, this is what exists. If your heart of your soul wants to look for it, you can find it here. Right. But going and trying to evangelize the people,
it's no good.
It's not good.
Hey, you know what? I think you're right, and I think that's been a failure of mine. And part of it is because it's met with such vitriol, and it's painful when people are like, man, fuck you, da 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 da, and then it becomes this thing, and then there we go. We just sunk our ship together. Yeah. So it's like, one has to develop a thick skin if you're gonna tell people shit they don't want to hear.
Yeah, but the question is, why do you want to tell people shit that they don't want to hear?
Because I want to tell the truth.
Why?
because that's the only thing because the devil's a lie. So that's.
But why? I mean, where it comes from? I found it myself. Let me tell you my
tell
story.
me. Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you about my thing.
Please.
I'm not pointing anything.
No.
Let me tell you something. When I started seeing that the world was a mess, that everything was chaos, that everything was bad, I was trying to change it. I went into a manic state thinking that I was going to change the world, spreading the word of this, teaching the people how to use this medicine, whatever.
Yeah.
And at some point, I understood that it was just a projection of my inner world.
Yeah.
And I started changing my inner world. And then the world that was surrounding me changed. And now I understand that there's nothing that has to be changed. I have to change myself. And if that's going on, it's the process of the world, of the people. And I can give them tools if they want. But that's the only thing that I can do. I don't want to change it. I can because I can even change myself. I can even stop eating, cookies and bad food. Am I gonna change the world? No, man.
Yeah. That's it. Well, I'm glad you sat down across from me. Because I've been like going. This is something that I've been struggling with these last couple months. And it's so it's definitely a message I just needed to hear just then.
Well, and it's just I'm talking about myself.
Yeah,
I'm talking about myself.
Yeah, but if you got to be able to do self-reflection when you're listening to a person. You got to be like, okay, check in.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
Change yourself, and the outside world is going to change. Do your work, and the world is going to change. And to be honest, we're powerless to change other people, but we can change ourselves.
Yes.
Change ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's a mission. That's
Truly.
what we're here. And sharing, yes. Giving clues, yes. Providing tools, that's what I do. That's what I wrote the book. I made the documentary. I'm creating this with people that really wants to hear what I'm saying, because I will not say this is the best way or the right. It's just, this is my experience. If it resonates with you, you can do this, you can do that. This is my experience, period. Right?
So how's it being taken in, I'm going to preface this with, in America, it was fucking like, you were a demon if you did, like I had a ketamine habit, like, and you were a demon if you did that, or mushrooms. And then within like 2 years of the industry pushing it, I got to hear like soccer moms are like, oh, I'm going to do ketamine. Da, da, da. So what's it like in Mexico?
No, Mexico is different because we have the indigenous cultures that used to do it all the time. And yeah, they made it illegal, but it was happening everywhere, And there's some towns and stuff like that that allowed the community. I mean, we the Mexicans, we're connected with this. Not directly, but we know, we've heard, it's something that it's there, and it's also demonized.
Yeah.
Because the media and the television has indoctrinated. And this comes back to it's exactly what you're saying is what happened with like the witch,
right.
The witch and all those times. What is the witch that has a cauldron and it has like a toad and all this stuff? It's the women that knows how to use this stuff. So she create awareness in people, so it becomes a danger for the power.
Well, yeah.
So they have always put a tax on these substances because it will increase your consciousness, your awareness, and you will not be manipulated that much. So that's why the media, it's always pushing this idea. And it's the same thing that happened. They were hunting the witches, but they were hunting the medicine women that know how to use this.
Yeah, and that, like, to your point, Sophia, the goddess, is wisdom, Yeah. So and I think in what you said, that like it's that we're going back to the dangers of it. I think part of this solution, it seems to me, that they're just like, you know what? Let's not let these retards fucking touch anything, because they might grab the pistol and start shooting shit. And it's like they don't that way they can't they don't know what's going on, so it's easier to control them. It seems to me like And that might be like, you know, the world is out to get me thing, but I don't know, man, because I'm right there with you. And everybody that looks, everybody was indigenous sometime. Everybody had a medicine woman sometime. Yeah. We all come from the dirt.
Yeah.
So I'm in line with you on this one, and I'm glad that there's someone like you that's treating it with respect.
Well, and there's so many ways to approach this. I would say I would never judge anyone. I would never point fingers at anything. If people wants to use feathers and bring some flair or flavor into it, it's okay. Just understanding.
What did the feather mean?
Well, it depends a lot. It will be. I will.
Why did he stick his finger in my butt?
Sorry. Okay.
Gotcha.
Because it was the rectal version of 5-MeO.
He said that's how I had to get it in me. I didn't see anything for a while.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with those practices.
I'm gonna write a bad Yelp review on that guy.
No, my thing is, I was going to touch the subject of dogma. My thing is, people tends to serve this medicine in order to legitimate this medicine substances. They were feathers. It's okay, but at the end, when you are under the effects of the substance, you're navigating yourself. You're not projected to Jupiter, or you're navigating yourself without the barriers of the mind.
Yeah.
So if somebody's dancing around you, it's just, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, it's important, setting, all that stuff. But at the end, this is a self-navigation process. And with time, I understood, again, this is the way I approach this thing, not saying anything is good or bad. I found more beneficial for me or the people that it's surrounding me to do it in silence, with no interruption, because sometimes the encounter with yourself without distractions is more powerful. It's not embedded with because sometimes the practitioner, the indigenous people that is serving you, sometimes are projecting themselves on you.
Like, you hear a song, that's going to make you feel a fucking certain way.
The Indians, right?
Yeah. All right. So, Mario, moving forward, we know that you don't judge anybody, and you're only and that there's always a different way. You don't have to qualify that anymore, man, because it's and it's funny when you were telling me this, like with going. I think a lot of times we think we're astral gliding with these trips, and we may be going inside,
right,
like
you're
that.
Going inside.
You're going to that universe inside of you because we're mirrors of the universe. Really.
Well, it's a paradox because the universe within is bigger than all this reality. And it's hard to understand that, but with time I understood that these tools, these biotechnologies, allows the spirit to do make interdimensional crossovers, but it's everything within. Yeah. Everything is within. So we're made of the universe.
Yes. It's funny,
sometimes
right?
It's hard to speak about this in English because it's
hard. I know. Yo, I'm watching you. I'm like, man, I don't want to say nothing, but like, he's doing a good ass job, man.
No. It's just
because these are bigger ideas, you know. Yeah. And I think that's the interesting thing. It ties in with religion, you know, because there's something. You can't be bigger than what has created you in my brain, but you're a part of it, right? Yeah. It's like it is in you, and that in somewhere along the way, that is what instead of having religion be a bridge to that, it's divided us from that.
Well, I think religion is just a manual. It's a good thing at some points for some people. I mean, I will say again, let's say that the Romans came with the Germans, that they couldn't control it because they were big people. So they say, okay, if you kill somebody, you're going to go to hell.
Yes.
So it's creating boundaries in the people. So it's okay.
Well, you kind of need that if you're mixing different populations, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, hey, man, look, these motherfuckers believe in this. These motherfuckers believe in that. Here, like, take this book so you don't murder each other because that's what it's going to end in bloodshed.
So I would say that religion at the end is just in some point of the human evolution or the soul's evolution, you will need some rules to bring structure to your life, but then you have to achieve the next step would be spirituality without dogma. That's next step.
And then you have like, the Gnostics and stuff. They're reading the same text.
The what? The Gnostics. Okay,
the Gnostics. So like they're reading the same biblical text, but they're just going a different direction.
Yes.
Like, for instance, we already went there. I'm not fucking jerking off or busting no nuts because I'm trying to keep my motherfucking like Christ shit. Like I'm trying to keep my holy fire in me.
Yes.
And so, you know, you're told back in the day, like, don't jerk off or else your hands will fall off. They didn't say don't jerk off because you have a fucking energy going through you. And
they will give you just the manual. And it becomes easier to explain to people. But now we're reaching a point where with the internet, everything is more connected. We're educating ourselves more. So now it's the time to maybe for some people explain the reasons behind it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just evolution. No good, no bad.
I think we devolved and now we're trying to get back to evolving. That's my man. You look at the motherfucking pyramids, man, down in Mexico. Them shits was good. Like
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I have the feeling that we have been extincted and coming back. And
I agree.
But I don't know.
No, that's my agree. I agree too. And you know what? Like evolve, where we're supposed to be because this is where we are.
We're like ants. We're like flies. We were for the life of the planet. We're not important here.
No, it's funny. It's like once again it's that dichotomy. We're not special, but we are special, you know?
Yeah.
But if you want to be special, you got to act special. You know, like you got to behave in a special manner.
Yeah.
That's...
Because we share the existence with divinity.
Yes.
And the feeling that I have is that this is just the suit that we use to be navigating this reality. But my true self exists in a different dimension. Let's say like the Catholics, they have like the hell, the heaven. There's two dimensions, this dimension. So we are interdimensional beings.
Yes.
So, and my point is, it's like if I'm gonna go swimming in the ocean or diving, I need a suit. Or if I need an astronaut suit if I wanna go to the moon.
Yes.
So the suit that I have is this, and the mind is the thing that I have to process this reality. But I am the essence. I am the spirit. I am a divinity. And when I leave this body, this suit that was to be here, in this reality, everything is seeds. And this is the fruit of the seeds of two body humans, right?
Yeah.
But I'm infinite.
Yes.
And that's the teachings that these substances gave me. No faith, not anything like that. I just know because I perceive myself without the boundaries of the mind.
But and this is to further agree with you. I think a lot of these religious texts are saying the exact same thing. It's just people are misinterpreting them. Yes. They got the wrong parts. Like it drives me fucking crazy when I just started going to church and people are like, if you give this blessing, you'll get that blessing. It's this transactional. It's like that's of this world. It's like, yo, bro, you're supposed to do this because it's good for your soul. Anything else that happens out here is fucking, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
And it goes back to your other point about respecting the process of the people. It's also, you made me think about respecting my process. So it's not about what I get, it's about what I do and how I do it.
Yes. And the same respect that you have for the other people is the respect that you have to have for your process, and you have to be compassionate with them.
Yes.
And compassionate with you. And we are all learning. We're doing the mistakes, we're doing the errors, and we're learning and we're evolving on that.
And when you're like, why do you have to tell it? Like, why is it important to tell the truth? I thought about it a bit more, and it's because I don't. It hurts my soul to lie, and I'm not going to lie.
No, you don't have to lie.
Yes, but
you can speak your truth. That's good.
No, I speak the truth.
The truth.
Yeah,
okay.
man. Because we don't have personal truths, man. It's like this is, well, we can get into that where
no,
it's nothing,
I don't want to get.
No, I don't want. I'm good. I'm glad. But I just wanted to get ahead of that because he might have flipped me on my head with that one.
No,
actually,
it's
Jude.
okay. No, it's okay. No, my point is, in my case, the necessity to share with other people.
Yes.
This truth was coming from a prideful space. In my case.
Mm-hmm.
It was making me feel better than the other people because I have the truth and you don't have it. I'm talking about my process.
Yeah, no, I'm hearing.
And also, it put me into what it's called the Messiah complex. I felt that I needed to save the world because I had this information.
Yeah,
you know,
and it was probably like it was.
Yeah, because I started having this necessity because this is so powerful. I need to do this and that.
Well, let's look at your job, Mario. Like, let's look at your previous job. It's you have to have an ego to be able to produce something.
Yes.
And you're producing something, and you have to have vision. So, and you're doing a fucking morning show, so you're trying to bring ideas to people.
Yeah.
It was basic. Sometimes it's like you could take everything that you need to do there. You just got to turn it in different directions and readjust yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because we're learning. And you know what? I don't like to do podcasts. I mean, it's hard for me sometimes to do podcasts because when I see this podcast, if I evolve enough in 2 or 3 years, I will say, "Who's that dumb?"
I know, bro. That, right? I know.
So. That's why I stopped. I made 80 chapters of the Bufo Talks in Spanish. And sometimes I listen to those podcasts and I say, hey, Mario, you're a dumb person. How can you dare to say that? Because I'm evolving.
Yes.
You know?
It's funny, too. It's because I think it's important that we allow ourselves to be wrong.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because there's also pride of saying, I will never be wrong. I just want to be, in front of the people saying the right stuff. That's also not good,
It's this interesting thing, right? It's like you gotta have enough confidence, especially to say it into a microphone. So it takes some gusto, and then you also have to be humble enough to be like, I might be wrong, and be kind to yourself. That was hard for me. Is like looking back and being nice to myself.
Yeah. Because this dialogue that we have in our minds is sometimes very tough. But that's when I say the ego is good or is bad. The ego, it's good because it will push you, but you need to train your ego. That voice that it's in your mind that is constantly telling me you're not good enough, you have to do it better. Okay, I can use that for the good or for the bad again. I would like to call the ego more like a trained dog that it will help me when it's necessary. That is a dog that is barking in my head every day, right?
Before we wrap up, can you tell me like what is your ritual or process to do the 5-MeO-DMT that you like for yourself?
It's if I'll do it for myself, I will be asking 2 good friends to hold space with me, people my old trust. It would be in silence. It would be in the darkness, in a safe place, in a safe spot where I cannot hit myself. I would consider a moderate to low dose to start walking the path, to start learning how to navigate it. People sometimes just when they're serving, they serve like, there's so many information about it.
Yeah, but I was just talking about for you.
Okay, I will consider a 0.35 millimeters of the synthetic.
You're such a scientist. You're fucking bro. You're a
it's just a small flake.
Yeah.
But the thing with the flakes of the not the synthetic, the Bufo Alvarius, it has different amounts and different concentrations of 5-MeO-DMT. So you can measure. Sometimes you can have what it's called the atomic flake.
Yeah.
It's super powerful, and sometimes you got a milder flake.
Yo, imagine like right, like what are the toads eating and not like
it's different. Every flake it's different.
I'd want a swampland toad because I feel like it's got algae. That shit is what's the name of the documentary?
It's looking for Bufo Alvarius.
Looking for how you say
Bufo.
Looking for Bufo
Alvarius, which is Alvarius. Hey, I will write for you.
Damn, dog. What is the Alvar? That's the name of the frog? Alvarius?
Yeah, well, the bufo toads are the bufos that are able to dig and bury themselves. That's a bufo toad.
Okay.
And this is the Alvarius bufo toad, which is the only toad in the world that has 5-MeO-DMT on their flakes.
Looking for Bufo Alvarius. And
Meet Mr. Alvarius would be the book.
Meet Mr. Alvarius. Meet Mr. Alvarius. And what is
the Bufo camp would be.
And yeah, we got cats that speak Spanish that listen. So tell them where they can find all your shit. You thought he was smart talking now, man. Fucking, you wait and see.
Ok, bueno, podemos ver los documentales en Buscando al Bufo Alvarius. Tenemos un libro que se llama Conozca al señor Alvarius, Meet Mr. Alvarius, y hay algo más información en bufocamp.mx.
Mario.
Gracias.
Garnier. Did
I
say it right?
Garnier could be because it's. Gracias. Pleasure, my brother. Thank you for the opportunity.